So proud of them. Just the amazing heart and grit that they showed. And on the other, I'm just devastated for Kevin. And so it's a bizarre feeling that we all have right now. An incredible win and a horrible loss at the same time.
I don't believe there's anybody to blame, but I understand this world. And if you have to, you can blame me. I run our basketball operations department.
For him to come out here, put his health on the line to try and help us win a championship shows you what kind of competitor he is. And it was very deflating after the game just because we're going to miss him.
He gave us what he had. He went out there and sacrificed his body. And we know how it turned out.
Welcome in. You're now rocking with the best. Game Time is the program. Ro Parrish is your host, running a two-man game with Greg Anthony. A lot to cover in this 30-minute program, including the latest on Kevin Durant. The Warriors' worst fear hasn't been confirmed. However, the team believes he has a torn Achilles tendon in his right leg, a devastating injury. GA, you're watching last night. What were your initial thoughts?
I was in shock, to see the injury because, when he was warming up, he didn't show a lot of explosiveness or athleticism, but the skill was obviously on display. And then the game starts, and he was just cooking, and then you see that play there where that was really the first time where he looked to make an explosive plant and move. And immediately when you saw him reach for that Achilles, your worst fears come to light. And it's just so unfortunate, whether you're a Raptors or a Warriors fan, you gotta feel for somebody in that situation. Well, all he had to do to give himself a chance to get back out on the floor and to have it in that way. But he definitely inspired his group because the way they started that game, there was a lot of confidence being displayed. And now after the game, you're still excited about the win. But as Steve Kerr talked about it, you're down right now and because you don't know the extent, what's going to transpire moving forward. He's going to be 31 later this year. And historically, when you have that kind of an injury, you don't necessarily ever return to the same stature you had prior to having it.
Seen Elton Brand, Chauncey Billups, Kobe Bryant, amongst others. His teammate right now, DeMarcus Cousins, all have had that injury. We wish nothing but the best to KD and hope for nothing but a speedy recovery. Now, the Raptors, they played the Warriors, and seven times this season. The Dubs have only won twice. They've been winless on their home floor. And the last game right now is going to be played at Oracle on this Thursday. So, GA, what's going through the players' minds right now? It seems to be so many distractions. Their best player out. They're still trying to get this three-peat. The arena's closing. Did I miss anything?
No, there's probably a few other things. But right now the priority and the focus is on Game 6. Because you've got to feel if you can win that game, you put the pressure all on Toronto because they'll be asked all the questions. Up 3-1 in a series, no KD, and yet you could still find yourself finishing second. And so they understand the magnitude of the moment, and they've proven as two-time defending champs that they handle adversity well. They showed it last night, even though Durant didn't finish that game, but their defense was terrific. They made 23s in the game. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those guys were incredible. Best defensive performance they've had in this series as well. And so that's going to give them a lot of confidence heading back home. And right now, their only thought process is let's get one. We're not trying to win 3 in a row. We're trying to win one. And they're going to have a golden opportunity, no pun intended, when they get back to Oracle.
So thinking about this, how far can that adrenaline, that emotion, how far can that take them? How long can that last going into Game 6? Or is that something that they could potentially carry out through the rest of the season and push it to a Game 7?
No, it's not so much that it's going to be the adrenaline. I think what they took away more than anything was confidence. I just felt like that was the most confident Warriors team we've seen in this series. They had the one stretch in the third quarter and the end of the second where they got the 20-0 run. But even after that, they had struggles down the stretch. But in this game, I felt from start to finish, it was the most complete performance they had, and in part because of how good they were defensively. They don't lack confidence now, because they've done it now. They finally have beaten this team, in essence, without Durant on the road. They've got 2 road wins, so that's going to give them confidence if they can get this win at Oracle. but they are champs. And when you're the champ, there's a level of confidence that goes along with that. And there's a possibility there could be a level of doubt, uncertainty in your opponent. And that's what they're going to try to feed off of in that crowd come Game 6.
You know, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Now, for the first time, it seems like the Raptors could knock down shots in this series, 8 for 32 from distance while they gave up 23s. This is the first time they were outshot in the series from downtown. So you see this and you say what?
Well, listen, the 23s from Golden State, that's a concern. But the bigger issue are the correctable mistakes, right? The fact that they didn't shoot threes well, and they got a lot of good looks, bro. Now, credit Golden State's defense because I thought they were disruptive early. And even though you're open, you don't have rhythm because the defense was so good, so locked in. But the opportunities were there. And if you're Nick Nurse and that team, you're going to go back and watch film, and you're going to say, man, we had our chances. We just couldn't make shots. And, you know, you hear this phrase all the time, it's a make or miss league. And in some respects it is. You've got to be able to make the opportunities when they present themselves. They couldn't do it. And so they'll feel better about being able to knock those shots down come the second game. But the bigger issue for me is the turnovers, particularly live ball turnovers. And they had several. Now, they only had 13 turnovers, but they gave up 20 points off of those 13 turnovers. And Golden State's the best I've ever seen at taking advantage of your mistakes. And those live ball turnovers lead to threes in transition and easy opportunities for this Warriors team. They feed off it. They thrive off it. It's why they're the two-time defending world champs. I know they got a lot of firepower, but what separated them has been their defensive ability to make you uncomfortable and create separation because of their defense. It was on display in Game 5.
Now let's talk about Nick Nurse for a second. We know that he's had a tremendous amount of success. Everybody's been talking about him. But late in that game, you noticed a couple of things that you had some questions about.
Yeah, listen, Nick Nurse has done an incredible job. I thought his team was as prepared to play against Golden State as any team I've seen in the playoffs. But the issue I had, they were rolling. They had come up, they're up 6 just over 3 minutes ago. He decides to take a timeout. And I get timeouts when we're not playing well, when it's a big possession and we're struggling. You as a coach want to help. But I felt in this moment, he kind of stemmed their momentum a little bit. If you go back at that 3:02 mark when he took the timeout, they didn't see the ball go through the basket another time the rest of the game. They had the 2-point layup from Lowry, but that was off a goaltend. They didn't get good looks. They didn't execute well offensively. They were out of sync. And I really felt like it allowed for Golden State to reset and you know, re-energize their game plan of how they wanted to defend down the stretch. And I thought that was a huge mistake. The other big one was with 15 seconds to go after the turnover, they didn't take the timeout to advance it to half court. It's a 1-point game. In a situation like that, you put more pressure on the defense if you have more time. They didn't have enough time. Golden State was able to take the ball out of Kawhi's hands, ends up with a weak 3-point attempt on the weak side that Draymond Green's able to block and secure that victory and force Game 6.
A couple of rookie mistakes made by Nick Nurse, who's otherwise had an outstanding series coaching so far. So 50, 40, 90, plus 30 points per game in the playoffs, the first player ever to achieve that feat in the playoffs. But what's next for KD as free agency approaches? We discuss. The 4-time is the charm, right, for Memphis? Taylor Jenkins hired as the latest head coach of the Grizzlies, their 4th head coach in the last 5 seasons. Spent the last 6 seasons under Coach Bud with the Bucks and Hawks. Also has 4 years under his belt with the Spurs. He will officially be introduced Wednesday. And of course, big names possibly on the move. You see a couple of guys that are playing in the finals: Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, Butler, Kyrie, a number of players, DeMarcus Cousins. Who is going to be available? Of course, NBA free agency coverage begins June 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern. You do not want to miss that. Is AD going to be on the way? One of our former colleagues here, in fact, 2 of our former colleagues are now down in New Orleans. First, David Griffiths takes the reins as he's made a number of hires, the latest being Swin Cash. She will serve as the VP of Basketball Ops and Team Development. She's won on every level, 2 titles in college, 3 in the WNBA, and is one of the WNBA's best 20 players ever. The Pelicans have the first pick, which will probably be Zion, and they also have AD on the roster. So with that being said, you know, free agency is less than a month away. Make sure you pay attention on NBA TV. What type of of impact is KD's injury going to have on the entire landscape, the domino effect, and how does it affect AD?
Well, it's going to have a significant impact, whether he stays or goes. Even though he's potentially not going to play next season, I still feel like there are going to be several teams that are willing to make the investment in him, even if he misses a year, because it's going to be such a big win for that organization in free agency. But he's got a lot of options. He could opt in and use that year to rehab with the Warriors training staff and medical staff and what have you, and then test free agency the following year. But he also has that option. The bigger issue, though, is the fact that him potentially moving east doesn't change the landscape of the East because he's not playing next year, potentially. We're going to allege that based on the news that we're hearing. But now I don't know that he becomes the first guy. And quite frankly, because of Kawhi Leonard and what he's done this season and obviously in this postseason, and he's also almost 4 years younger, he may still, in a lot of eyes of front office execs, be the number one target. But make no mistake about it, KD is still going to play a role, and I still think he's going to be a part of that domino, to see who goes first. And then, as you mentioned, Anthony Davis. I think it's a certainty he's going to get moved. Does the deal of Durant now not necessarily being a factor next season change the mindset of some other teams now? Do they shift more focus towards Anthony Davis in a potential trade? So this is going to have far-reaching consequences, this injury, in terms of the direction that some teams take when it comes to free agency.
Indeed, our finals coverage will continue Wednesday on NBA TV with media availability. You see that will start at 3 p.m. Eastern. The starters at 6:30, and then Game Time live at the finals at 8 p.m. All times at Eastern. Do not miss any of it. Got more Game Time. You see Clay dropping the threes, but we're going to give you absolute access, all access, to an epic Game 5 coming up next on Game Time.
Game 5, here we go! Here we go, let's get this! We got this!
Being down 3 games to 1 in the NBA Finals is a daunting task for any team. But the Golden State Warriors aren't just any team. You can never underestimate the heart of a champion.
You know we're going to get their best shot. We got to go out there and give them our best shot.
All of a sudden, Golden State has a new addition. Kevin Durant will play, and Kevin Durant will start.
Yes! Let's get it. Bring it up.
Nobody said it's going to be easy, but this group is built for this. Yes, sir. Let's go win one game and take it from there. Just up.
Yes, sir. JJ, come on!
48 minutes of effort. It's going to take a hell of an effort. It's 48 minutes, keeping our composure, our togetherness, and our defense.
The Raptors 1 win away from their first ever NBA title.
Gentlemen, is this the night?
Curry drives Gasol in the lane. Passes out to Durant, who gets off a 3 and hits it. Kevin Durant back in the lineup and in the scorebook with a triple.
Great job, fellas. Great job. Keep fighting.
Here comes Toronto. 4-on-2.
Kawhi finishes! Kawhi on the inside, and the Raptors down by 1.
Here comes Durant.
Durant off a screen, takes a 3. It's good for KD.
What a start for Kevin Durant. 11 points. Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. His teammates going over to check on him.
Kevin Durant gets up and he's limping badly.
Kevin Durant will not return with a right lower leg injury.
Livingston dribbles middle, bounce pass, Cousins goes up, takes the hit, and scores.
Well, he's had an impact here.
Leonard, blocked by Cousins. Boy, Cousins doing a little bit of everything. Cousins now, he'll try a three-pointer, and puts it in. Golden State maintaining this lead because of the play of DeMarcus Cousins.
Draymond gets it out to Curry, relocates left wing 3. Good, and a foul!
A 13-point Golden State lead. They have rallied since their teammate went back to the locker room.
Playing
pretty hard, but we're not playing well enough. We're playing way too much one-on-one. We got to move the ball.
Gasol spots up for three and hits.
3-on-1 Toronto.
Lowry back to Siakam, up and in. And an eventful first half comes to an end.
If we get our offense just a touch better, it'll help our defense, right? I love how aggressive and we're pushing the pace. I love all that. A little bit better defense to get this thing done.
Draymond looking to facilitate. Dribbles to his right, finds Curry, steps back.
Curry fades and fires right side. Another three ball for Steph Curry.
Warriors showing their championship heart right now after losing Kevin Durant.
Lowry on the drive, gets inside, stops and banks it home.
The Raptors trying to fight back.
Golden State has a 2-point lead.
Leonard with the ball. Runs in front court.
Here's Kawhi to the lane. Good!
You get the feeling that Kawhi Leonard is sensing the moment.
Kawhi backs it in.
He's on the bounce against Klay Thompson. Leans over on the dribble. Works right. Bounces off him in the lane. Got it again! He's got the last 10 for Toronto.
Kawhi Leonard taking over here in Game 5.
A chance to end the Golden State Warriors' 2-year reign as NBA champs. We have 2:38 to go in Game 5. Warriors playing to keep their season alive.
Thompson finds an opening. Three-pointer's up. It's good. Klay Thompson from downtown.
1:35 to go. Golden State down 3.
Iguodala to Curry. Curry takes a three. It's up and good! Curry has tied the game at 103. Curry behind the back. Touch pass Draymond to Klay Thompson. Pump fake. Flyby. Three ball. Got it!
Golden State retakes the lead.
This game is absolutely insane.
The drama, the tension, the incredible play.
10 seconds to go. Down 1. They go to Kawhi. Double team. Finds Van Vliet with 2. Into the corner. Lowry for the championship.
No! The game's over! The game is over! The Warriors have won!
Let's go home. Let's go.
And the Warriors' three-peat dream is still alive.
Keep the lights on at Oracle. Dust those seats off.
Get to play another game. That's all we wanted.
An inspiring performance from the Golden State Warriors.
It's great. It's good to rally around Kevin. We did that for him, man.
On the one hand, I'm so proud of them. Just the amazing heart and grit that they showed. And on the other, I'm just devastated for Kevin.
In 2 days, we'll be suiting up in front of Oracle Arena with an amazing atmosphere and an opportunity to play for him. We're gonna have to will ourselves for another 48 minutes to stay alive. And I think we can rally.
Apple time. If you know, you know. The board man is making history with another achievement. Which one? You'll find out on the other side. It's Game Time, presented by YouTube TV.